wake up, hit 100 push-ups, then I'm at my route. Check on my stocks, see how they looking, then I'm sliding out. When you start seeing your progression, you stop having doubts. And what's the point of having clout if you can't cash it out? True to this game, and I'm a lifer, ayy. Feel like we finna change the cycle, ayy.
What's with it, wealthy people? Welcome back to another installment of the Black Wealth Renaissance podcast. It's your boy, David Bellard, one half of the Black Wealth Renaissance crew. I'm here with my brother from another, Jalen. What's good, brother?
What it do? What it do? It's your boy, Jalen, man. Jalen Clark, the other half of the Black Wealth Renaissance podcast. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling amazing, dog.
Indeed.
Feeling blacktastic. I'm grateful, bro. Grateful to have another breath of life, another day, another chance.
Amen to that,
I'm
bro.
Good, bro. I'm good.
Amen to that, man. Listen, you got to keep it pushing, got to keep going and growing and glowing. You know that's what we doing. We told y'all we back working on that consistency. We're going to get y'all a consistent date soon with, new releases. As I mentioned last time, we're still working on, getting some people in the pipeline, having some conversations. So we got some good stuff in the works for y'all.
Honestly, David, I think I have a really great idea because we are working on getting our Patreon back together.
Okay.
I think a great way for us to kind of maybe decide this too is once we get this Patreon locked down and nice and neat, maybe we let the listeners decide, hey, what day would y'all like for us to go ahead and drop on? Maybe we put a little poll on the Patreon.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like the way that sounds. You know what I'm saying?
Even for the free tier, maybe, hey, y'all can all decide as long as you join. But then once that content start rolling out, they'll be for the paid members. We can figure out which day we want that to come out on.
Okay, I like that. Y'all definitely tap in. Like we mentioned, we're going to start putting the link in there. We're working on getting the Patreon back rolling, getting content out for you guys. So, yeah, definitely. I like that. We're going to keep working on that for y'all. But, man, before we get into today's episode, we got a lot of great topics and things to get into. But before, hopping into it, got to do a little housekeeping as always. Y'all make sure y'all leave us a rating and review. It helps us continue to grow the show. Preferably a 5-star rating and review. You watching on YouTube, hit that like button, that hype button, subscribe, all those good things.
Get that notification bell.
All those things. We need all that. All that, dog. All that. But yeah, man, we need all that. Y'all continue to put that batter in our back. We continue to put this information out here. But yeah, so Jalen, before we get into it, man, how's life? I know we just said you good. But how's everything, dog?
I ain't gonna lie, brother. Work, I have been having a rough time at work. But honestly, with the rough time, it's definitely making me recalibrate and I'm like, hey, I'm doing all of this stuff for work. Why not put all of this energy back into my business, man?
I feel that.
It's definitely just giving me a breath, kind of like a fresh air, and just thinking about this and like, yo, at one point we were really going hard, really dedicated.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of momentum going with it. So what happens if we find that now we got some new driving forces behind us, some bigger whys than what we originally had in our life? So I think that it's just giving me a different look at how can we take advantage of this? How can we really lock in, be consistent, take this to the next level? So once again, everybody who reaches out to us, DM, anything like that, we appreciate it. I actually kind of want to read a DM that I had got from somebody, bro.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I'm going to read the DM. So not too long ago, I actually got a DM from one of our followers, one of our listeners. Shout out to you, Sophia Evans. She said, hey, man, it's been a while since we chatted, but I'm here to say I hope you and David pick up the podcast again when you're ready. I was an avid listener of your show, and honestly, your episodes brought me to tears countless times as they reminded me of what's possible, and that is all within me. I even had a dream of being on your podcast one day, knowing I'd made a difference. I know life is crazy and you might have other priorities, but your show is very impactful and has a lot of potential to get to the next level with the right amount of care. I've been meaning to say this for a while, so I hope it lands. And I want to say it definitely did land.
Yeah. I mean, you are in part quite much. We were talking about it before. Yeah. Like, we were like, yeah, man, we need to get back into it. But then Jalen got that message and I was like, all right, bro.
We just put a date on it, bro.
Like, and yeah, we talking about
dates and stuff like that. I actually saw a quote from one of my homeboys today in the group chat. And whenever I read this quote, That also inspired me too, man. That's something I'm just trying to do better, is just also just look at everyday inspiration for life and stuff. Like just read between the lines, even through the bad and the challenging times. How can I still find inspiration? And the words that he said is, a man once said, if you give yourself 6 months to get something done, it will take you 6 months. If you give yourself 6 weeks to get something done, it'll take you 6 weeks. Like basically, like
the time frame you give yourself determines the amount of time it's going to take. A lot of time.
Yeah, like
I mean, it makes
I remember
sense,
having,
bro. Think about it, projects at school and stuff like that. Whenever people, a lot of times we would procrastinate until it was time to lock in. You know, you've been knowing about this for 6 weeks. You had 6 weeks to do it, but it didn't have to get done until that date.
Yes, exactly.
So now, like, you know, and you have that time, you keep. Oh, I got this much time. I can do it now. I can do it later, you know. But then you get up on that deadline and then you forced to really get things done. So that makes sense. I mean, we talked about, you know, getting ourselves with a couple of deadlines and things like that in order to keep things moving along in the right direction.
And that was part of the reason why I said the deadline, like, no, let's do something, let's lock it in. And I brought that part up also because of the messaging that we had got from Sophia. Whenever we talked about let's do a podcast, we was just like, you know what, let's do this in the next few days, man. Let's not push it out or whatever. Let's try to go ahead and get it done. And I think a lot of times with just life, if we push out these long deadlines, it could take us a long time. But if you put that fire, turn that pressure up on yourself, you'll be very amazed at some of the things you can get done whenever you really focus and challenge yourself.
Facts. So, man, just before we get into the serious topics,
I was about to say, I just did all my talking. You tell me about yourself, bro.
Man, I'm doing all right, bro. I'm doing good. You know what I'm saying? Life is good. We just biking, drinking smoothies, rolling up the best. Yee. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, Larry Jew.
Yeah, no, but life's been good. You know, work is work. Definitely been putting more time, energy, and effort into this, working on different things with BWR. Got some travel coming up, so that's something I'm looking forward to, traveling with some friends. Where you
going
family.
to, boy?
Man, I'm just most stateside things. Going hit Orlando with some of my friends from college. We're going to hit the Universal and Disney and all that stuff. I hadn't seen these people.
Man, that sounds fun, dog.
I hadn't seen most of them in over.
You going with
over
Kinfolk?
5 years? Yeah, with Kinfolk. I'm going with Kinfolk.
Yeah, I know your little group, nigga. I know the name of your group and shit, nigga.
Man, you know, that's our folks from college. It's going to be like 8 of us, so we're going to get together. It's been
my fault. Also, listeners, I'm sorry. I'm saying nigga and cussing already. Y'all, forgive me.
Yeah, at least you checked yourself. But yeah, just gonna see them, and then at the end, that's the beginning of July, and then at the end of July, me and my cousins and my sisters are going on a cruise. So yeah, man, I got a little travel coming up. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting into everything that life has to offer. You know, a lot of times we don't always go and do those reset things. It's been a while since I just took a little vacation, so looking forward to those things, man.
Hey man, that sounds exciting, dog. I'm happy for you.
Appreciate you, man. So
when you going to do that?
Next month. So beginning of July, July 4th weekend is Kinfolk trip. Last weekend of July is the family cruise. So
gotcha. Oh yeah, you about to be moving and grooving for the month of July.
Oh yeah. I had to put the brakes on it the last couple months. I did too much in March and April, so I had to slow down May, June. But look, we ramping it back up in July.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. What you was about to get into, bro?
But no, man. Just talking about things going on before we get into the main show today, guys. Something that we've seen, you know, right now, the NBA Finals just ended. Shout out to the New York Knicks. Shout out to everybody in New York.
I ain't even a Knicks fan, but I feel like Knicks
that New York energy is contagious, man.
Knicks winning is great for basketball too, bro. Like whenever the Knicks win, the rest of the league is better.
The thing that got me with it was, you know, everybody's comments on New York. They're like, bro, they got a socialist mayor and the whole city up now. Like, the city didn't won a finals for the first time in 50 years. Like, maybe New York is the blueprint. You know, we had talked about it before.
Tell you who ain't going to be up? The
Who
Jets.
That? Trash. Basura. Gilbridge. Them boys is trash.
I'm just being facetious.
No, for real. But Yeah, no, shout out to New York. Definitely shout out to them. And then, World Cup's going on. There's been buku people out and about in the
Man,
Americas looking like they enjoying themselves.
I am loving World Cup content, bro. I don't know how I stumbled across World Cup content. And when I say World Cup content, I'm talking about all of the people that have come into America and are experiencing American ways, American food for the first time. Bro,
And the food, bro.
The first thing that I saw that kind of really just shook me up, but I didn't know that this was a thing. It came across my timeline. Somebody was like, just ate at Waffle House. This is a fabulous establishment. The food
An establishment.
A1.
Establishment.
I'm like, bro, you go there at 10 o'clock on the right night, you gonna see somebody getting jumped.
Nuck if you buck, bro.
I'm telling
2
you.
a.m. after the club, man. Waffle House used to be where it would go down.
It still go down over there, man.
Yeah, you're right. I just don't go to Waffle House at that hour no more.
But they on a run, bro. They on a run. So that person, they did like Waffle House, Wendy's, and they did something else. But then I've been seeing people like, because the games are being played, I think it's across like 11 or 15 sites throughout the U.S. There's like Los Angeles, Texas has Dallas and Houston, Kansas City. There's some places on the East Coast, Atlanta, New York, New Jersey. I think Oregon or somewhere right up on the border of Oregon, of Washington State and Canada. There's a few different sites that they're playing. So people are getting to experience different parts of American culture. So it's very, very interesting to see that. Like even as small as down to last night, I got on a rabbit hole. Whenever the algorithm hitting, the algorithm just feeding you, bro. Like this girl was just so shocked at the way that we pump gas. She was from Australia. She's like, how do you guys get your petrol here? Oh, you just tap it on your phone? She's like, oh, you don't have to hold it? You just do the clip? She's like, this was the best and fastest way I could get gas. It was just so...
culture shock for them.
Yes.
Now, I tell you, they really about to be in shock, though. You talking about that food. They keep eating all these places. Them boys going to die.
Boy.
No, like literally, bro. We allow a lot of stuff in America that they country is flat out banned. Like like Red 40 and stuff like that. You can't put Red 40 and stuff over there. They getting straight Red 40 drinks out here. Like them boys' digestive system go into shock.
Them boys getting that fent.
Being that bit lean.
I'm telling you, man, you ain't lying. I saw a video of
they be having withdrawals.
A girl talking about y'all get that good straight A poison. I saw somebody. They say they gonna go back with the FIFA 15, bro. I was dying laughing when I saw that.
FIFA 15 instead of the freshman 15. Yeah. No, they definitely gonna gain weight, even though they walking and doing all that. Yeah, then American food, they trying to kill us out here.
They compared all of that. There's like people go to Europe, we lose weight, we have a great time. It's like, man, y'all body about to be screaming for help. So I will say, y'all please eat this food with caution. Enjoy it, but please eat this food with caution. This American food is definitely different.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you like my dad said, you only live one life, man. You can go out sad with a little piece of salad and kale, or you can eat that pork chop, man. If y'all want to eat that pork chop while y'all out here, do y'all thing.
I ain't gonna put your daddy business out there, but I'm gonna put my daddy business out there. My daddy be eating all kind of shit. That nigga got gout.
My dad got gout too.
That nigga feet be hurting. Forget what you talking about, bro. Don't.
Hey man, they only hit for a little while though, bro.
Take care of your body,
bro.
I'm talking to Americans. I'm talking to Americans.
I'm talking to the foreigners, man.
Like you said, they gonna be good. They going back home. They gonna be chilling. Americans, take care of your body. I ain't
healthcare is. We talked about healthcare last week. The healthcare system is cooked out here. Matter of fact, we're gonna talk about healthcare.
Yeah, we will talk about healthcare some more today.
Man, but yeah, while we talking, man, let's get into it, bro. Well,
I got one more thing I want to say, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of skeptical of all this World Cup content as well. It's a lot of people that have came and it's like all positive. I've never seen like that's good for America, but me also putting on my little tinfoil hat, being a little conspiracy theorist, or even just thinking about some of the stuff that the government has done, like on record. What if all of this is just a ploy to reshape the American image, put on by the Trump administration. Like these are hired actors and everything on social media who might not even be in America. Maybe these are deep fakes and everything like that.
So you basically accusing them of what they saying everybody else does.
Oh yeah,
Saying they done hired actors to portray a certain imagery of America. Man, I wouldn't put nothing past this administration, but me personally,
I am seeing a lot of foreign people like out here because Houston is one of the
hella bread to be here.
Yeah,
that's the way I'm looking. They spent hella bread to be here. Man, they just trying to have a good time. You know, you spend money on that trip, man. You got to get the most out of it. You got to get everything you can. And we talked about last week how some of the price gouging that people are doing with FIFA. So they're looking at it like a lot of people. I've seen articles and things of that nature where like, man, I'm getting raked over the coals, bro. Like they no grease. They just doing me dirty. Sheesh. But like people borrowing to get from their pensions and stuff to be out here for FIFA, really? Bro. Yeah, like there are people who have done that because it's so expensive. But they don't regret it because it's a once in a lifetime type thing that they're saying they're doing. Teach their own when it comes to that. I'm not a big football fan. I'm a American football guy, so hey man, I can't fully understand it.
Whenever I can, dog.
Yeah, I can't fully understand. I watched a couple of the matches.
I was about to say, I'm pretty. You understand the basics of soccer.
Oh yeah.
We play FIFA.
Yeah, but I'm not like a soccer fanatic. Like I don't know the teams and stuff like that. I know basically soccer because of FIFA, not FIFA the video game, not really because I know soccer, So yeah,
I got you.
Different thing. I could see it, if American football was that big globally, maybe people would do the same. But yeah, I disagree. I don't think it's a psyop at this point, but I would never put nothing past these folks.
Damn, I know we want to move on to the next topic, but there is one more point I can make about this, and that's the political aspect of what's being done to some countries. So, like countries that America does have tensions with and everything, they are like in Somalia. There's a very famous Somalian referee that was supposed to ref some of the games.
Oh yeah, but they told him he couldn't come.
He got turned around. He had to take he literally landed here. His visa was denied. He had to turn around and take a flight right back to Somalia.
That's crazy.
Iran actually is playing in Los Angeles. They have like 3 games in Los Angeles, but they were diverted from staying in America. They actually have to stay in Mexico. So they had a match. I forgot who their opening match was against. They had to fly from Mexico to play their match, and then immediately after the match, fly back to Mexico from Los Angeles, bro.
That's ridiculous. But that's the nonsense. And I know that was a part of it with, how, again, this administration has handled immigration and people coming into the country. You would think during something like the World Cup, which is a showing of, unity amongst people throughout the countries, throughout the world, we would ease up on some of these sanctions. However, that's not been the case. But again, I don't put anything past these people. I'm not banking everything on them. I think they're going to do what they're going to do. I just hope that it doesn't continue to worsen our standing as a global superpower. Because that's all everything that I see he's doing is just dismantling our status as the premier global superpower. But yeah, man. Yeah, this is craziness. World Cup. But all right. So I'm ready to get into it. If you are, bro,
let's go, man. I'll let you tee up the first topic.
So guys, getting into it, the nitty gritty, the goods, the what you call it, we've been talking a lot about, AI, data centers, and things of that nature. And, at Black Wealth Renaissance, we do like to focus on ways that you can leverage things and make money.
Chase the money.
We know that there are also, there are concerns around data centers, but one thing that we always like to acknowledge is that you can either be an early adopter or a late adopter. And if you're going to wait until all this infrastructure is built out, you're going to be on the back end and you're going to lose out on some of the benefits that could have been gained. So I want to take a look at, and we mentioned this, I think a couple times as well already, that energy is going to be the next big wave. Whenever we talk about AI, data centers, We've talked about some of those hardware companies, the ones that are actually producing the devices, but there's a whole other aspect of this that needs to be addressed because as a part of this AI build out, the United States has a massive, massive, massive energy deficit that has to be addressed in order to be able to address this AI build out. So the US data center power demand is forecast to more than double what our current available gigawattage is in the United States.
What's that?
Based on that. So our current gigawattage is currently 31 gigawatts as of 2025.
For the whole country?
For the whole country.
Okay.
Now, what they're saying we need for data centers by 2027, we need 66 gigawatts.
God damn.
So there's a lot of investment into building power systems for AI, right? And one of the big things that the Trump administration has been talking about has been that these AI data centers, and one of the big concerns of citizens has been AI data centers are increasing our bills, right? So now they're going to have to be responsible for providing the energy to these things. So they're going to have off-grid power supplies. So what we want to get into is some of these companies that are a part of this supply chain that provide things that are going to be benefited by this AI infrastructure build out. On June 10th, the U.S. Energy Secretary announced that we're actually going to start using natural gas to power data centers. So that's going to be
which is pretty crazy when you think about like natural gas. And because I remember Kelly had told us this a while back, that natural
a lot of times
gas,
they burn it off.
Yeah, like they just burn off natural gas. Like natural gas is really treated like the
redheaded stepchild,
the oxtail off of the cow. Like, oh, we just it is what it is until you figure out a very useful case, which is now trying to power data centers with it.
Yeah, now it's the oxtails, like you said. It's like the oxtail. It used to get it for nothing. Now it's at a premium, right? So natural gas, the companies that are involved in natural gas infrastructure and energy supply, these are some of the things that we're going to look at. So I got a few companies here that stand to benefit from this AI trade, and I want to go into a couple of them. So first and foremost, just naming them off, there's GE Vernova, the Constellation.
Subsidiary of General Electric, right?
Yeah. It's a offshoot of General Electric. The Constellation Group, Vista Corp, Alto Ingredients, which it's not really natural gas production, but I'll get into that. Interflex and Solaris. These are all companies that stand to benefit massively from the data center AI build out. So getting into GE Vernova first. GE Vernova, ticker for those interested is GEV. This is a global leader in electricity generation and grid infrastructure equipment. They don't sell electricity, but they sell the components for production of electricity, including these gas turbines, wind turbines for wind technology.
What about hydro turbines for like dams and everything?
I didn't see if that was part of their. I didn't see it was mentioned. Maybe that might also be one of their verticals.
Okay,
but they also sell the hardware to electrify the grids. So all of these things are going to be things.
Inverters and all of that shit.
I don't know what the name of the hardware is, brother. I'm not an engineer. I'm not going to lie to you. Don't make me lie to you.
They were like,
you asking something that's outside of my depth, brother. All I know is they sell the parts. If we talking Gold Rush, these the boys with the pickaxes and the shovels.
Got you.
These the boys that's selling the means by which you can get the electricity to the data centers. So currently, at the time of this recording, it is sitting around $9.88 as a
$9.88,
$988 a share.
Jeez.
But it has real prospects for growth. including, a price target most experts set around 1250 for a 1 year price
Okay,
target.
that is
So
still a
you're
lot of
looking
room
at
for
like
growth. Yeah.
potentially another 30% of growth here. And with the way this AI data center build out has been going, they're poised to continue to make money. They are a super profitable company. All these companies that I'm going to mention today, they are actually cash flowing pretty significantly. They make their money from the data center trade. So uh, all the money that the software companies are burning, I look at it this way: it's going somewhere, right?
Yeah.
These are the companies that we're trying to get in on, are the ones where this is getting that cash burn is ending up somewhere, and these are some of the
It's
people
either
that.
going to be in this electricity, in the compute power, or in the cooling of the actual data centers, which I think would be a great last part to wrap up, because we did do our like compute power and everything as well, right? So maybe next pod we can wrap up with cooling stocks that will impact data centers.
Okay. So I like that. We add that to the next one. Y'all definitely give us feedback on this list with things, because these are some companies that me personally, I've already made some moves and pivots into
He
with my
holding all the
portfolio.
money in it, y'all. Big back Bellard back at it again.
Hey man, we trying to get that, dog. I'm just trying to get to 1 million by tomorrow. That's it. I just wish, it's not slow and steady win the race always, and always invest at your just
At your
sidebar.
level. Yeah.
Yeah, invest at your own risk. None of this is stock advice for anybody. We're just going over companies that we know are in this sector that have positions for growth based on what experts are saying and what the research we've done is inclined. But always do your own research, especially when it comes to investing, and always invest at your own risk and at your own level, like Jalen said. Whatever you're willing to lose. Yep. So moving on, there is also the Constellation Group. Constellation is one of the largest nuclear operators in the United States. So they've benefited from a lot of the AI's trade hyperscalers for these data centers. Companies like Microsoft, Google, Meta, they're requiring a lot of energy to get these build outs completed. So they've actually partnered with Constellation Group. Constellation Group signed some purchasing agreements that ties these nuclear plants directly to data centers. So nuclear is clean energy, renewable energy, one of the better prospects for, not using fossil fuels. So it's one of those things that obviously it's not gonna all be natural gas, even though, he mentioned natural gas is going to be used to power data centers. There are going to be other methods. Constellation Group is an example. They have those deals already in place with several of these centers.
I want to talk about one of their bigger deals and one of the interesting deals that I had saw. I didn't realize it was Constellation Group at the time that I saw it, but I did see that they're planning to revamp 3 Mile Island, which actually
3 Mile Island.
3 Mile Island is a nuclear reactor plant that
Okay.
actually back in the 70s or 80s, it actually had a meltdown, bro. It was a partial nuclear meltdown of the 2 reactor on the 3 Mile Island. So some people did lose their lives and stuff like that.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it's whenever U.S. and everything was really going big on nuclear, and then they ended up having a few meltdowns around that time. But they're restarting this, and they're looking to make it a lot safer because, like you said, a lot of countries are starting to go with this nuclear route because of the amount of energy that you can create that is considered clean energy with nuclear. It is probably one of the easiest ways for them to reach that 66 gigawatt threshold that they need.
Certainly, especially without having, those same amount of effects or really production needed to get to harness that energy. Honestly, risk reward thing, right? Kind of looking at investing with nuclear energy, the risk is way higher, but the reward is also way higher versus extracting from the ground. You get more utility out of the nuclear energy here. So yeah, Constellation Group, that's one of them. Moving on, next one is Vistra Corp. Ticker symbol is VST. Oh, my apologies. I skipped one thing with Constellation Group that I did want to mention. Current price. Current price at the time of this recording is about $269 a share. target price for a year from now is about $367 a share. So you're looking at another one with growth potential of around 40% year, based on analyst expectations. But yeah, moving on to next one, Vistra Corp. So Vistra Corp, VST, this is one of the largest competitive power generators in the U.S. As mentioned before, it's not always just one type of energy. This is a company that's very diversified across multiple lines of energy production. So they offer nuclear energy, they offer natural gas, solar, coal, and battery storage assets. So they kind of have their hand in everything, and they're one of the larger players. They have a deal with NVIDIA and private equity firm KKR. It's a $10 billion deal to build out the Helix digital infrastructure. So this is for a new type of data center that are AI ready. So these are for the next gen data centers. They already have this deal in the pipeline.
I want to talk about one of the things that you said, battery storage assets.
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's kind of cool too, because I know that is something that these energy companies are talking about as well, is storing electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Not just always having to constantly
generate
electricity, ways to actually store it. That way you could tap into it. So I think that that's pretty cool that with that company, they are focusing on those assets, trying to figure out, okay, if we can store it, generate it, if it does go offline, we can still keep certain aspects of the network running and everything by tapping into that reserve power.
Definitely. Gotta have those things like those generators. We think about Louisiana. Growing up in Louisiana, we had hurricanes. You always want to have that backup power source whenever things go left, and you don't always want to have to, manually turn things on, or like you said, have to go crank something to generate energy. You just have that thing ready.
Even like what you saying, that like it makes me think of like people who have solar and everything at their house, right? Whenever you install these solar panels, some companies give you that option to add that battery pack onto your house in a case that it is some type of natural disaster or some type of catastrophic.
You got a storage. Yeah,
you got storage where, hey, while your solar panels are going through the day, it's powering your house, but you're also getting some going to that battery pack. That way you can run your necessities at night without having to run a loud generator, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. So Vistra Corp pricing currently $159 a share. Target for 1 year is $230. Another looking at roughly 40-50% growth as well on this one. Mm-hmm. Expectations for the next year. So these are all like high growth, high cash flow stocks that are benefiting from the AI trade. Now this next one, not so much an AI stock, but in the energy sector. This company, Alto Ingredients, it's a highly profitable company that produces basically the industrial byproducts from gas products. So they're in a few different industries. They're in the pharmaceuticals industry, cosmetics, beverages. They're producing a lot of components for those things, a lot of materials for those things. They're also producing fuel grade ethanol, and then industrial agricultural products like vegetable oils and animal feed. So they got their hands in a lot of different areas. They're considered an energy company because they're using these gas and oil byproducts. And right now, this is one of those ones that it's experienced a lot of growth this year so far already, and there's a lot of growth expected of the company. This year, it's only $4.84 a share, but so far this year, it's up over 100%. And the analyst target
$2.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year, and analyst targets for this one 1 year from now is at $14.28 a share, $14.28.
So
this one is poised for growth.
I'm going to mess with that.
Poised for growth. It's poised for growth.
Me personally,
this is not investment advice.
Financial
This is not investment advice
like that.
But this is one of those companies that, again, is benefiting from this, especially with some of the things we're going to talk about later with the re-establishment of normalcy in that crude trade. They stand to benefit from that as supply chains level out. Next company, Interflex. This one is another one of those pickaxe sellers in terms of off-grid AI data center power solutions. So they provide turnkey natural gas compression systems and gas infrastructure. So with the pivot to data centers using natural gas in the U.S., they can benefit by offering those off-grid centers to data centers. I didn't find anything about deals that they currently have in the works. This is a Canadian company. Compared to the ones that I previously discussed, there is less expected growth baked in on this one. I mean, this currently at $23 a share, expected to be $31 next year. But whenever we talk about diversifying our portfolios outside of just American companies, it's a good way to get exposure to a company that's in the natural gas field that's not necessarily an American company, because they also have deals in Canada for the same similar types of things. Lastly, last company I want to get into is Solaris. Solaris is another independent power generation system. They primarily work with the oil field companies. And with this AI data center play, they stand to make money as well. They have a few deals in the pipeline that they just recently signed. They have a 15-year JV deal with State Line Power to supply 900 megawatts of behind-the-meter power, which is off-grid power for data centers. They also have a 10-year agreement with Hatchbow and a third agreement with another company, in both of which they're supplying over 500 megawatts. So just kind of talking about those numbers earlier, right? We said we need an additional 33 gigawatts. Mm-hmm. We're talking megawatts here, right? 600 megawatts. That's
35 gigawatts actually, bro, because it's expected for 66 and we're at 31 right now.
Yeah, so every 1,000 megawatts is a gigawatt. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at even with
company that's about to provide what, like 4 or 5 gigawatts?
Nah, not quite that much. Just around 2 gigawatts.
Okay.
Yeah, just around 2 gigawatts themselves. So again, there's a lot of opportunity there with this company. Solaris is, again, not as much growth expected. Currently around $76. It has seen growth over this year, but the target for next year is about $90. But yeah, these are just stocks.
I know you were talking to me about you said all of these have seen growth this year. I know you were telling me about like how much it went up from the last time you looked at it whenever you was researching it just to today.
Everything's about $10 to $15 higher than when I originally started researching this. That very likely has to do with the announcement that was made over the week with the U.S. and Trump. Right now it's the G7 summit out there in Geneva. So yeah, the United States and Iran did reach a tentative agreement. I guess we can just pivot into that if you want to.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, so with that, the United States and Iran reached a tentative agreement for a ceasefire and a removal.
Open the Strait of Hormuz, baby.
Let's get that oil flowing.
We need it.
We need that.
Our pockets need it.
Yes. So I know we just recently talked about the Strait of Hormuz, I believe, on our last episode or episode before that. We were talking about, the strain that this had put on global supply chains. Well, the U.S. and Iran have reached a tentative deal to reach a ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. This is contingent upon a few things. The deal is supposed to be signed on Friday, June 19th. Yeah, June 19th is when it's scheduled to be signed. It's supposed to be for a 60-day ceasefire and the immediate reopening of the strait. So the U.S. is to remove the naval blockade and also unfreeze $24 billion of Iranian assets. That's not part of the deal that they've been talking a whole lot about.
Of course it's not.
Because, he's been a big critic of Obama's Iran deal whenever they had one. And I want to say at the time they released $1.7 billion of Iranian assets. So,
that's a real big number for them.
Yes, that's a huge number. And somebody going to look at that and say, He won. This is a better deal.
The craziest,
$24 billion.
the craziest part I saw, and I didn't verify the numbers, but I was on Threads. I saw someone was like, Americans, whenever they realize we paid $80 billion just to bomb Iran, now we're going to unfreeze assets and then also give them access to like an additional $300 billion to rebuild and reconstruct their country.
Craziness. And, on top of that, with this, right, not only are they getting that, but it's also reopening negotiations about their nuclear program, which was one of the whole things, right?
Which, according to Trump, he's like, they're never, ever going to have this. Part of it is because I was watching J.D. Vance talk about it. Transparency for allowing inspections inside the country to make sure that they're keeping a low level of enriched uranium. I think they really wanted them to not have any amounts of enriched uranium. Is it uranium?
Uranium, yeah.
Yeah, enriched uranium for them to make, even like we were talking about nuclear reactors for data centers. Those are some of the reasons why they actually were developing that enriched uranium so they could actually make power with their data centers.
But from my understanding, it's kind of like similar technology to a degree where it's like, yeah, okay, you could also use this to make bombs.
Yes.
So
they're playing like both sides of the fence.
Yeah. But, them saying that they're never going to do this, I would never take that with any validity. Yeah. These are the same people who have told us multiple times that we've obliterated them. They're never coming back. They'll never do it again. And they proceed to do it, right? So going back to this deal was announced as a major win in this process. It's supposed to be, normalizing the global fuel supplies. We discussed how fuel supplies have started to reach lows in a lot of areas, and has been straining the oil prices. We might have seen oil rise to $140 a barrel. We've seen ExxonMobil executives warning of that just a few weeks ago. Well, this agreement is supposed to get that Strait of Hormuz reopened, which, again, 20% of the world's oil flows through, which should normalize things. But what experts are saying is that because of the backlog and the supply chain, it's not like they're saying, it's reopened immediately, but there are things that have to be done to get this reopened. There were mines placed in the water that need to be removed. There are going to be companies that don't feel comfortable going through there just yet until they see more people go through. Like, bro, they got land. What did they left some of the mines in the water? I'm not trying to die behind this. So, like, it's not like it's going to be an immediate solution. Like, gas prices are going to go down tomorrow. No, from what experts are saying, based on the backup in the supply chain and how much time things are going to take, it should be about 2 to 3 months before we start seeing a normalization.
Another thing I want to talk about is also the time that it takes these fuel tankers to actually get here. We're talking about people being hesitant of actually going through the strait because of them being fearful for the ceasefire being not actually honored. We got to think about how long it actually takes for shipping containers to move, right? Shipping is a lot slower than flying stuff via plane or getting stuff via pipeline or anything. It's going to take, like you said, that 3-4 months, depending on what route and everything they're going to actually get to some of their destinations as well. So once you actually see those supplies being deposited into those areas that we need the fuel.
Yeah, and it won't make an immediate difference in the price. So it won't change everything right away, but hopefully contingent that this deal actually stays together, we could see a decrease in gas prices come September, which would be a great welcome thing. Kind of shortly after the summer season, which is kind of trash, but but no. Going back to the contingencies with this deal, I did want to bring this up because I think it's important to note that, yes, while they are going to reopen the strait and there are still open negotiations between the United States and Iran, Iran has stated that this is contingent upon the Israel and Lebanon conflict. Israel is not trying to play ball. They still trying to, have at it with.
I saw a video from Trump at G7 actually kind of like talking down on Israel, like, hey, they need to chill out.
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't want to step off. They kind of pressing the issue with them.
He was like, he arrogant. He was like, without me, there would be no Israel right now. So I need them to play ball. Basically, is what he was saying.
Yeah, and that's where the contingency stands. The Secretary of Defense, he's over here like, nah, man, that don't matter. Like the deal's gonna go through whether Israel and Lebanon continue to have their conflict. But Iranian officials have stated that, hey, like if this ceasefire don't hold up, this deal may collapse. So we're gonna see where this goes. The current standing is supposed to be a 60-day ceasefire and reopening of things. But as we all know, things can change extremely fast, especially with this volatile accommodations that we have in office. So we will continue to monitor the situation and provide updates accordingly.
Sorry for cursing,
hey, man,
y'all.
relax.
Sorry. But he got to not mess it up, dog. Netanyahu really be...
Yeah, a lot of the time, on bullshit.
He need to chill out.
BB on BBS. BS. They will start calling BS. BBS. Irritable bowel syndrome.
Yo, that's wild. That's nasty.
But yeah, man. So that's just a quick update on that. Moving on. What else you want to get into, my brother?
Man, we can actually go back to one of our conversations from last week too. Pivot. I know we mentioned it earlier. We were going to talk about healthcare, and the cost of living and everything. We actually just wanted to dive a little bit deeper because I know last week David had put up that graphic where we're talking about some of the luxuries versus necessities and the way that inflation kind of impacted and affected some of those things. And healthcare was up like 230% or whatever.
Oh my God, bro! Don't remind me.
It was at the top. It was at the top. Number one. So that
over 200% for sure.
That just prompted us to kind of talk about this healthcare system, kind of talk about what us as Americans are facing and some ways that we actually can kind of combat it and get ourselves to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, because we were just talking about all those foreigners out here eating all that crazy food. See, Americans, I was telling the foreigners, y'all can eat whatever y'all want.
Yeah.
Because y'all will go back to y'all countries where healthcare is, some of these
pretty
countries,
decent. Yeah.
They got decent healthcare. It's paid for, state sanctioned. Out here, it's the wild west. It's rough. Them boys leaving us out here. They leaving us out to dry.
And that's why I said earlier, we got to take care of our bodies. If they not going to take care of us with healthcare, you at least got to be conscious of what we putting in it, dog.
That's a fact.
So I want to talk about most people actually saw premiums rise 2 to 3 times due to Affordable Care Act subsidies ending and Medicaid cost cuts causing prices to rise. So
I remember that. That was the big fight in Congress last year
whenever they shut down the government. How long was it shut down? It was probably
the longest government. Yeah, it was the longest government shutdown in history. I want to say it was around 60 days. I may be misremembering the exact length. It may have been over 60, but I do know it was the longest shutdown in history. And the fight was for those Affordable Care Act premiums. And I hate to say that the Democrats folded.
It was 43 days. So it started October 1st. And
it felt like 2 months. 12th.
But that was going into the holidays. And I remember it was going into the holidays. And a lot of people were very concerned about not having, bills and everything like that for the holidays. So I do remember that.
I just remember it feeling like 2 months that it was on every day you would hear about it.
Like that coronavirus, man, little spiky little purple or red thing.
Bro, every day, bro, they'll be talking about this stuff, man. And the fight in Congress was for these Affordable Care Act premiums because at the time, Democrats were arguing that if we did not continue to pay these subsidies, premiums for most Americans would go up. And like Jalen just mentioned, people have seen premiums rise 2 to 3 times. I know me personally, my health insurance premium through my job's doubled. So that tracks for me, right?
So I kind of want to talk about the why, right?
Yeah.
So like he said, this government shutdown happened, then they ended up folding on that. They actually didn't get what they want, and the subsidies ended on the 31st of December. They didn't get a chance to actually get that taken care of.
Because they said they had signed a deal with like the contingency that they were gonna make a deal and follow up on it
at the next part of the year, like after 2026. But as we all know, open enrollment happens when? In November. So a lot of the premiums and everything were already changed before the subsidies even expired.
Yeah, insurance companies just went ahead and hiked it up.
Yeah, they just hiked it up, and they anticipated it not actually going through anyway. So with that, during the pandemic, we were talking about how some of the prices and everything were actually cheaper. So during the pandemic, the government passed enhanced premium tax credits, which drove Affordable Care Act plans to as low as $10 a month for certain people.
Man, so, I wish.
It depends on.
I remember getting those ads, though. You remember they would send you those marketplace ads all the time. Raul got coverage for $10 a month.
Yep.
Y'all do remember that.
The reason why, though, is because they're basing it on the federal poverty level, bro. So depending on how much money you were making and where you fell at the federal poverty level,
that's how much subsidy they get.
Yes, that's how much subsidy they were getting. So with that cancellation of those subsidies, the people that were affected the most was the middle class, and specifically people that teetered up into the 400% of the federal poverty level. They call that the subsidy cliff. That's basically where the subsidies ended, right? And I'm gonna just give you some numbers.
400% of the federal poverty level. So if you made 4 times what the poverty level was considered, you were at the top.
Yes, and you no longer qualify for those subsidies. They stopped, like, done.
Once that's like $80K? If you're making like $80K?
No, so one person household, it's $63,840. Okay. 2-person household, it is $86,560. For a 4-person household, that is $132,000. So if you were making that much as any one of those type of households, your subsidies stopped. You wasn't getting anything, right?
Yeah.
So that effect, according to the data, everybody that's past that 400 household, that 400% is in the top 7% of Americans, is what they're saying.
What?
Yes.
How that makes sense?
I don't know.
That don't add up because the average salary, well, I guess household income is not salary, right? The average household income in America is around $63K. So I guess maybe they're talking for 2 people households. But I felt like, I guess when I hear that number, more times than not, I interpret a single person.
Yeah, I don't know if that's adjusted gross income or anything either.
But, a lot of times whenever we do hear those numbers about, the average of salary for an American, it usually is broken down into household income. Whenever we get like census data or stuff, but like I said, Fed.
1-person household is still $63,000 for that 400%.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So usually that at $63,000, that's around what the average salary is now, right?
No.
Yeah, average. I say salary, but that's what I'm saying. Household income.
You want to go average or you want to go median?
Median. Let's go median household income. We don't want to do averages because average is skewed by the higher earners.
Median household income. Oh, actually, you're right. My fault.
It's around 63.
It's actually more. The national median household income in the U.S. is $83,730.
So, but that's household. You know what I'm saying? So that could be 2 people. But if 83,000 is there, and we just assuming it's a 2-person household, you dang near at the limit already. Mm-hmm. So most people aren't getting these subsidies, is what you're really relaying here.
Exactly. So what that did was that basically drove a lot of people. They're not able to afford these premiums.
People having to choose to go without.
Mm-hmm. So that led to a trickle down effect, right? Because the way healthcare premiums are actually calculated, it's based off of a test group. So a lot of the younger people who can afford to not have insurance, they back out of having insurance. And what that did was that decreased the amount of healthy people within the test group, because the way that the premiums work is if you have a healthier pool of people within that plan or within that policy, it'll make it more affordable, because those healthier people, they're paying their premiums, but they're not going to the doctor as much. And it kind of helps out the people who actually do need to pay for their health insurance, which are typically the elderly folks, or people that just have like terminal illnesses,
chronic illness,
and everything.
yeah.
Yes. So with the younger people saying, you know what, my health insurance just went up 2-3 times.
I can't afford it. I'm not going to pay it.
Yeah, like I know for sure.
That's making it more expensive for everybody.
Exactly. So now it has that negative effect on everything. The other thing that is also causing these healthcare prices to rise is GLP-1s. GLP-1s, yeah.
Ozempic,
Wegovy, all the other ones. So they're actually putting more pressure on healthcare costs too, because insurers are responsible for covering a certain amount of prescription drugs. And a lot of these doctors are prescribing these GLP-1s for beyond the original scope, which was diabetes.
Yeah, I'm going to say these were insulin inhibitors, right? For diabetics.
So they were diabetic or diabetes medications. But then as we've seen the marketing and everything on these things, man, this GLP-1 cures blindness. It cures baldness. It'll cure erectile dysfunction. It'll cure everything.
Just stick yourself in the tummy and you're going to get skinny.
Exactly. So they got a lot of healthcare providers to start prescribing this stuff, and the insurers had to eat that budget, which actually drove through their pharmaceutical budget, because they budget out for, hey, how much are we going to actually pay for medicine and everything this year?
Yeah.
So with more people being prescribed GLP-1s, that also has that pressure being put.
It's ate up that part of the budget.
Yes.
And again, so what it sounds like is a lot of squeezing of the people who actually need the insurance.
Yes.
Because people who don't need it, or are, not to say misusing it, but definitely like taking advantage of some technicalities and marketing things. Because we've seen the craze with Ozempic, right? Where it's like, at first it was kind of like something that it was like a Hollywood thing that nobody talked about. Like, why Oprah got so skinny, you know? And then all of a sudden people start talking about Ozempic. We start seeing these Serena Williams ads every day. Now it's commonplace. There's
Not
like
Charles
3 or
Barkley
4
on Ozempic.
They got like 3 or 4 of them to market now. They're trying to continue to push this out there as a solution.
Zepbound, that nigga Joe Budden on Zepbound.
It's a bunch of them, and people, you know, they take them for the benefits, the, you know, limiting appetites and things of that nature. But
yeah,
I will say I did look into the research. I can't argue with the research and saying that this is like just some fly by night thing. Apparently, this was originally discovered back in the 70s. GLPs, what the function of them was, and medication had been in testing since the 90s. Before Ozempic was approved, like in, I think, 2017. So it's not like it's a major health risk issue, but it is a financial risk, is what it sounds like.
I don't know what you're talking about. Somebody gonna be up at about 10 years from now eating some popcorn, streaming. And
3 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, they're gonna be streaming. They're gonna be on YouTube or something.
You may be entitled to compensation.
Or do you have a family or a loved one?
You a loved one?
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to come across on YouTube, Instagram, whatever the social media. They're going to have an ad for that. They're going to be a major lawsuit. There is one more part of this kind of like formula that's putting pressure on healthcare, and that is actually just the cost of general medical affordability in totality. And that's because a lot of these hospital systems, they're actually starting to merge together, right? So
consolidation.
Yeah, they're consolidating together. I know in Houston, I live in Houston. I live in one of the medical capitals in the U.S. There is a lot of like systems throughout Houston. There's Memorial Hermann. There's Women's of Texas. There's Kelsey Siebel. There's so many big medical systems, even throughout Louisiana. I remember growing up, like there was a lot of regional medical
but now
systems.
they're getting bought out
Yeah,
by
they're
like
all
in Louisiana. It's all Ochsner now.
Yes, I was just about to say Ochsner medical systems. I think they're pretty much in New Orleans, there in Lafayette. Ochsner is pretty big. So what these medical systems are doing, they're coming and they're over leveraging the actual insurance companies as well too, because there's a shortage in workforce through the healthcare system, and what they're doing is they're raising their wages to attract and to retain their talents.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know people that are like nurses and RNs, you know they getting crazy bags to go do these deployments and everything
travel
like
contracts,
that. Travel contracts, all of these things. We've seen how much money they're making, and that's because there's a shortage in so many healthcare providers in general. So what that does for these medical systems is they're saying, hey, we have this very strong workforce. We have these people, and now they can over leverage and say, hey, this is why we're charging for the services that we are rendering. So now they're actually driving up the charges and the prices for imaging, for just regular care and everything, because they have that leverage.
BS I was talking about last week with the chart. That's why the number's so high.
Exactly. But then what that's doing is the insurance companies, they don't have as much leverage, so they say, you know what? We'll play ball. We'll pay that. But what they're doing is passing those savings and passing that difference onto the actual premium payers and the consumers. So now we're the people that's getting screwed by the system because they want to overcharge, they want to overprice, and they're agreeing to it. So now we have to take the brunt on the back end.
It's like a sick ass feedback loop, bro, where it's like
It is.
Prices keep going up and it's squeezing people out and it's continuing to cause prices to go up. It's like a loop that keeps cycling up. Like it's just going to keep going that direction. And honestly, to me, the only true solution to that would be some type of subsidy or state-owned option. We're starting to see it. We talked about it a little bit with some of those insurers that are leaving the state to be the only insurer. Non-private options are the solution in this regard, because at the end of the day, these companies require them to make a profit. Like you mentioned, the pharmaceutical the insurance companies that have they set their pharmaceuticals budget. Like that's because they have to make a profit at the end of the year, and that profit has to be larger than the profit that they previously made. Otherwise, investors look at it as the company is not growing. Whereas whenever it's a state-owned option, growth isn't the primary objective. It is the service of the citizens. So that is my opinion on that. I think that would be the true only solution. And I don't see any true plan anywhere in America at this time.
Or maybe even some type of like member-owned insurance company or something like that. Kind of like we spoke about a co-op, but maybe like that for insurance, where once again they're not actually out for the profit, but they're out for the overall betterment of the people and the everyday person.
Yeah.
So I know I just talked about all of these things, putting pressure and everything. So what are some ways that we can actually kind of like save some money, make sure that we do have insurance if your premiums went up, right? So according to my research, there's this thing called the bronze level plan. So it is different tiers. And basically the bronze level plans, that's the policies.
You're talking about a marketplace plan, right?
Yes. That's the policies that pretty much they're poo-poo water policies, man. Basically, they're calling them catastrophic plans. You
got insurance just to have insurance.
Yeah, they're calling them catastrophic plans. So this is like if all else fails, you go ahead. It's a high deductible, maybe like $13,000 deductible or whatever. Very expensive deductible for you.
But it's pretty low cost.
Yes. So, but it's low cost on your pockets. So if you blow through that deductible and something does happen, the insurance will kick in. But the way that they're saying, hey, this is how you can kind of combat and still be able to afford healthcare if you do have to, is to pair that bronze level plan with a HSA fund and max out your HSA. And the reason why they're saying that is because the benefits that the HSA have as well, it's actually It's
Yeah,
triple tax advantage.
yep. So you pre-tax deduction,
Yep.
the income or investment income if you choose to invest it grows tax free.
Yep.
And what's the third?
The third is whenever you actually pull it out to use it to pay for a doctor or prescriptions, all of that is tax free as well.
So it's
But
tax free for qualified.
I was about to say it's got to be
expenses.
qualified expenses though,
Qualified expenses
because you can use your HSA for other things as well. But if it's for a qualified expense, it will also be tax free.
Okay, which that's great, and the benefit also on that other side that I kind of alluded to was with HSAs, you can take those funds and invest them. So if you are eligible for such, if your HSA offers it, you can take that money and invest it in ETFs, mutual funds, stocks. So that money can grow tax free while you can still use the actual funds within it to pay for those qualified medical expenses that are also tax free. So some HSAs, they do require you to have a minimum balance in there. HSA limits for people interested, the most you can contribute is $4,400 a year for yourself. If you have a family, the total is $8,750 is the most you can contribute in 2026. So that's the max amount. Again, this is tax deductible. So this is pre-tax income deduction if you were to choose to invest in and put your money in this. And what Jalen was saying and why I think this is a good option for those people, especially younger people who aren't very likely to use the insurance, you can take that money that you, instead of spending, say, $500 a month on a health insurance premium, you get a plan that's $100 a month, and you take the other, you don't even take the other 400 and put it in the HSA. If you put 400 in the HSA every month, you would probably max it out for the year. So let's just say for that instance, you put 400 in the HSA instead of spending it on the premiums. That 400 can then be invested at a 8 to 10% rate of return, and that same money can compound over time. So you just have another account where you can reap the benefits of compound interest, and you can still use the money in that account to pay for those qualified medical expenses. Should something happen, God forbid, you have a major incident and you do have that HSA account, at that time you can, leverage those funds, those investment funds within there. God forbid, we all get older, things happen as we age. You could take those funds and pay for a major procedure if you can't afford one of those higher plans.
And then something else that I wanted to clarify, I know I said it earlier. It is based on your adjusted gross income, bro. So depending on what type of credits, what type of deductions and everything you can get throughout your tax year, you could qualify for the credits for the Affordable Care Act subsidies based on adjusted gross income, depending on how much deductions and everything you actually have.
Okay, so if your salary was over 80, but after deductions, you got a business, maybe you operated at a loss that year, you own a home, deductions, things of that nature. I got you. Okay, cool deal. So moving into the next thing, man, you brought up the GLPs, and they are really affecting not only the insurance companies, but consumer companies. Man. Yeah, it's affecting everything, honestly. It's now to a point where we talked about the corruption economy, but it's another economy that's on the bubble right now, and it's the Ozempic economy, or what I'm calling it, the protein pandemic.
Man, protein and everything.
D-boy talking about protein everything. They talking about protein Pop-Tarts, man.
Protein Pop-Tarts is crazy. That I was like, okay, bro, y'all going a little too crazy. Y'all advertising 16 grams of protein in this damn Pop-Tart.
It's a 300-calorie Pop-Tart with 10 grams of protein, and they just slap the letters protein on things, and that's really the issue right now, right? So with GLP-1s, the rise of them, we've seen people's appetites be reduced, right? And that is negatively affecting a lot of these
and everything.
These companies that produce, snacks, foods, things of that nature. So a study from 2024, survey from 2024 by KFF Health Tracking found that 1 in 8 Americans actually stated that they were on GLP-1. So that's a fair quantity of people. And other studies by Cornell and Numerator found that like within the first 6 months of getting on GLP-1s, the average household's grocery bill decreased by about 5%. And wealthier households, people making over like 125 annually, their grocery bill fell by about 8%.
Damn. Oh yeah, I know General Mills is hurting.
You know, so like with people eating less, because that's what the GLPs do, they inhibit your hunger and tell you you're full. With people eating less, these companies are now scrambling and trying to find ways to make their products stand out in this more competitive market where people aren't eating as much. The companies and products that were most negatively affected by this, go figure, are the Unhealthy BS, the consumer brands.
I can tell you all the names. Frito-Lay's, Kraft Heinz, General Mills.
All that stuff you find in the aisles. Not the stuff around the grocery store, the stuff in between the aisles.
Yeah.
All that stuff. All that ultra-processed, high-profit margin stuff. Them chips that
we talked about the other day, that's $4, $5 for a bag of chips.
For a bag of air. You know, all that stuff, it's been taking a nosedive. So now these companies are scrambling and trying to find ways to repackage the same products. And it's really it's the reason I call it the protein pandemic is because it's getting egregious, bro.
It's real ridiculous, bro.
Like what are we really doing, bro? Like, so you mean to tell me we could just start marketing things as nutrient dense, fiber rich, and protein without changing anything, and like we just gonna run with that? Yeah. So like it's kind of it's crazy. So like I seen an example right with Smoothie King. So I want to show this to the listeners. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely I want you to see this.
While you pulling it up, I'm definitely thinking. So I started paying attention to the protein thing like last year. But something even for me is that's why tracking your macros is so important too. There was a point where I was tracking my macros pretty well, which I think I need to get back to it after this conversation because it was helping me just lose weight and get to a very fit level, which I have been losing a lot of weight. I have lost a lot of weight recently. But just tracking those macros, you actually get to see the difference of what they might market as high protein or whatever, but then you see all the other things that are in it. So I remember whenever I was tracking hard, I was looking for something with protein, and I went to go get the little Nature Valley protein bar. But whenever I went to
because it says protein and big letters on it.
So what I was doing is before I even purchased something, I was scanning that product to see, okay, what would it get me? Whenever I went to scan it with my phone and it pulled up the macros, it had like 8 grams of protein, but like you said, that was a 280 calorie little bar for 8 grams of protein. But then I also looked at the amount of sugar and the amount of sodium that was in there. It's like, I'm going to get 8 grams of protein, but all the other bad things that I'm going to get along with this, it's really not giving me any positive like nutrients within my body.
Exactly, bro. And it's like, it's right now we're combating
hella
marketing
carbs too.
Right. So what we're having now is a situation where we got a bunch of unfounded marketing claims trying to repackage products, right? So we were talking about GLP-1s. So I want to use Smoothie King as an example. So this is how companies use marketing to manipulate things. So here you have the Smoothie King Gladiator vanilla flavor smoothie. Smoothie King announced that they had a GLP-1 menu, right? So a lot of companies have started to do that where they're like, oh, okay, since people are on these, we're going to have menus that are tailored for people who are on these journeys, their health journeys. These are going to be protein-focused meals because, you know, when people are on these things, they're not eating as often, they're losing weight rapidly. If you're not getting enough protein, you're losing muscle mass, you get the Zimp neck, you be having the little chicken gizzard looking stuff. Butt. Yeah, you be looking zimpy. You all zimped out. Yeah, exactly. But so what a lot of companies like Smoothie King have done is they've just gone ahead and integrated this into the name, right? So you got the Gladiator GLP-1 vanilla and the Gladiator vanilla. Now, Jalen, I would ask you, what do you think is the difference between these two smoothies?
Something's got the GLP-1 got GLP in it.
You would think something like along the, well, I don't think they put the GLP in it, but like, maybe something along the lines that's got higher protein count, something like that. So then I decided to scroll down and look at the nutrition facts on these mugs. So then I'm looking at them, right? So the 20-ounce Gladiator joint with the GLP and the regular Gladiator is the same numbers, 220 calories, 2.5 grams of fat, 3 grams of carbs, 45 grams of protein. The issue isn't that, the smoothie's the same. The issue is, why are we marketing it this way? Like we're creating something new. And in all reality, it's just the same BS repackaged.
That's crazy.
This is what we're facing now. This is what's
all they
going
doing
on.
is A/B testing products.
Basically, this is the protein pandemic, bro. They over here lying to us. They pissing on our leg and telling us it's raining, son.
Yeah.
McDonald's over here talking about some, man, you need a high protein snack? Just get these chicken tendies. And it's like, yo, yeah, chicken tenders, bro. 40 grams of protein in them. But like Jalen was just talking about with the macros.
How much?
Yeah, you got 40 grams of protein, but you got 23 grams of fat and 1,400 milligrams of salt.
Yeah.
Like, you got more salt than what your daily value is supposed to be. Your 50% of your daily value of fat for 2 chicken tenders from them. And it's like, it's all a game right now. And it seems like
for it.
It's all just a big game with this protein marketing. That 10% rule, I think, was a really big, good thing, rule of thumb to hold if you're looking at these things, so you don't fall victim to it. Because a lot of times you're still seeing, oh, it's protein. I'm eating protein. And like, you eating a bunch of bullshit. Exactly. Like, they said protein on the pack.
The best way to get your proteins is through Whole Foods, bro. If you get Whole Foods, when I say Whole Foods, I'm not talking about the store. I'm talking about foods that have not been processed. So go get you a piece of chicken breast and go cook that. Don't add all type of extra stuff to it. Put your little oil.
You don't need no sauce on there.
Yeah, little salt, pepper, whatever little spices and everything you want to add to it. But eat you a whole food. Same thing with your steak, everything else. If you eat it as a whole food, you're getting the most purest form of the protein straight from the
not out the frozen section. Yeah. Not out the prepackaged ready to eat section. Like you said, whole. You did it yourself. Yeah, but I just thought that was crazy, man. Especially with how like a lot of these companies are getting away with it. Even like fiber stuff, like the soda poppy. Mm-hmm. They've lost a couple lawsuits now
because of the probiotic stuff. And
they lost a couple lawsuits because they're stating that they made false claims about these things. And what I would like to see is the FDA step in at some point or another. But this is America. It ain't about to happen. We just been talking about how the healthcare system effed up. And now the food, they giving us this jacked up food telling us, hey, man, it's made for you on your health journey. And it's the same BS they were selling you before. Exactly. Like craziness, crazy work.
Oh, yeah, man. You got anything else you want to put on that?
No, man, I think that's it, man. Just y'all don't fall victim to protein marketing. If it say protein on it in big letters, read the back.
Please read it. But I think that's all that we got for today for the listeners then, man, because I don't have anything else. Is there anything else you want to go through?
Last thing, just before we close out of here, and this just get your opinion on this. So the UK followed suit from Australia, and they also recently implemented a ban on social media for minors. Okay. Their ban went a step further than Australia. Australia banned their kids under 16 from like social media apps. The UK's ban includes live streaming, messaging strangers on gaming platforms, and it bans all people under 18 from using like the AI romantic chat bots, the sex bots, whatever they want to call them. It's kind of crazy that that's even a thing, but how do you feel about this banning of social media for kids under 16?
I feel like they did a great job, bro. That's how I feel. Great fucking job. Shout out
That's
to
how you
y'all.
feel?
Shout out to y'all.
So you believe that this will have a net positive benefit on the kids?
Bro, the kids are too on the phone. Well, I ain't even gonna lie to you. If you pay attention to a lot of these kids, a lot of the trend is they starting to go to more analog stuff. They try to detach from the internet themselves in general. So it is a lot of people. I don't know if you noticed, but even just wearing wired headphones is coming back. People are trying to restore iPods. Like they're like, I would rather just listen to my music and not have to worry about an ad or not have to worry about streaming or anything like that. So a lot of the kids are actually reverting back to this naturally. So I think that this will actually help with social relationships as well, actually having kids speak to each other. I definitely agree with the not messaging random strangers and everything on like games and everything, Roblox. Even just
they got some creepy dudes on there.
Even just messaging random people, like if you playing Call of Duty or whatever. I remember what it was like playing Call of Duty. Like, yeah, you could be on the chat or whatever, but once you can actually direct and communicate with that person, I think that's a step too far, bro. Especially for kids that are under that age of 16. Let them kids be kids. Let them kids grow. I don't think it's wrong with them learning technology, but I definitely do see the way that social media impacted our generation. A lot of people do have social anxiety. A lot of people aren't able to publicly speak, even just down to reading. Y'all stop scrolling. Go read a motherfucking book. Like, my wife is a teacher, bro. She tells me about how these kids cannot read. These kids can't do math. You got kids that just graduated this year cannot read. Have you ever seen this man on social media with that card?
Bro, please don't bring it up, bro. It be hurting my heart because like they be looking at these words and they legit, bro, they have no reading skills. Like they don't know how to sign the word out. They don't know how to use their context clues. And like, some of those sentences be BS.
I asked Tanae why. She said it's because of the way that the curriculum is structured, bro.
Yeah.
Like they use sight words now. They don't go through vowels and all of this type of stuff. They use sight words, and the sight words are built within to do like combo words and everything. So you're not sounding stuff out by the vowel or anything now. You're going based on the sight words that you have learned.
Yeah, that sounds crazy. I don't even understand what you just told me just now. What do you mean we're not sounding stuff out? Yeah, that's like the fundamentals of learning how to read.
Not learning vowels or anything.
That's like telling me, bro. You trying to teach people math, but you're not going to teach them basic arithmetic first. You're not going to. You're not going through if Johnny had 5 apples.
They not, bro. Like,
you need to know if Johnny had 5 apples and he gave Jalen 2. How many apples does Johnny have? And then you got to get smacked across your little black apple head that's bald and skinned because your mama decided to give you the number 5 when you was asking for a number 10. Listen.
It sounds like a place of hurt, guys.
We losing the recipes, bro. We losing recipes.
David is reliving trauma.
Bro, we are losing recipes. How are we not letting kids learn? So like, I don't understand that part. Like how we get to this point as a society where it's like, okay, yeah, we said no child left behind, and then decided to say, actually, we're gonna leave them all behind.
Yeah,
like every one of them.
Invest into their education.
We're not gonna invest anything into them. It is what it is.
So
I could see that as a net positive.
What's your goal? What's your standing on it?
So with it, I personally don't think it's gonna solve a problem. If the problem is you thinking kids are not going to get on the internet, that's just not going to happen. If they want to, they will. It will allow people, sneaky kids. So I think about it this way, like kids with super strict parents often find ways to be sneaky.
That's a fact.
So like I see the same thing going on. And when I was a kid, right, we weren't supposed to have MySpace and stuff whenever we was like 10, 11, but we would lie about our age, So I just feel like
that's because we knew how to get around the laws with that, though. All you had to do was put your age being a later date.
that's what I'm saying. I just think the same thing is gonna happen. Like now,
I don't know though. I'm gonna tell you why.
Why you think that?
So I told you WWDC, Apple had their developer conference last week. They actually released, so there were 3 big tiers that they spoke about. And one of the big tiers that they spoke about was privacy for children. So they released a whole suite where now they'll actually be creating child profiles, and the parent will be able to restrict the type of apps that the kid can use, the people that they can talk to. Like the parents will have a lot of control on their child's profile, even the time that they can use the phone. Like if they're at school, they're not supposed to be using certain apps, no social media, all of this. So if Android and other people follow suit and then parents do actually crack down on that and start implementing that thing, now with the government oversight and then the parents being able to say, hey, we can control what apps or whatever. Now you can't access a VPN. Of course, once again, there's going to be kids that are smart, that know how to outsmart the system. And then there's going to be kids that are sneaky that go ahead and learn how to do this as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think it's an admirable policy to put in place for a country. I think as the United States, we probably could benefit from it because our kids are brain rotted out.
Go read a book.
They brain rotted. The endless scroll is whooping them kids behind, bro.
It is.
Like, but somebody made this point. It's like when we think about what social media does, it's like a dopamine slot machine, right? You just infinite scroll dopamine slot machine. We don't let kids gamble because gambling is addictive. We won't let a kid into the casino. So why are we letting them walk around with TikTok on their phone? It's essentially the same thing. You see something, you laugh, you get the dopamine spike, and you get sucked into this for hours. Now you just wasted hours of your day bullshitting on TikTok.
Exactly. So shout out to the UK, man. I appreciate y'all for doing that. I like it. I'm in support of it.
Stop putting beans on toast. I don't support that shit.
If y'all haven't, go watch that social media doc on Netflix, and you will see why I support this so much as well.
Indeed. Well, that was the last thing I wanted to get into, brother. Anything else before we wrap this joint up?
Nah, man. I ain't going to take too much more of people's time, dog.
For sure. Well, listen, family, we appreciate y'all so much. If you're still listening to us at this point, we hope that you got some great value out of this episode. You learned a thing or two. If you did, make sure you share it with a friend. Leave us a little rating and review. You know that.
A 5-star rating and review.
Make sure, like my partner said, 5-star. We need that. But we just ask that you continue to follow along with us on this journey. We're going to keep putting out this content.
Go sign up for that Patreon, man.
There we go. Go sign up for that Patreon. We're going to get that free tier opened up. We're going to be involving y'all in the process as we continue to get this more content out, interviews, things of that nature. We're going to be releasing it there. So y'all keep up with us. And until next time, man, this is BWR signing out.
Peace.